Okay, we are recording. And oh, my dog just came in the room. 1 second. Hey, Max, going outside. Okay, he had his ball, so he was wanting to play with me. That's not a good time, right? Okay, well, you guys, thank you so much for getting on tonight. I'm so excited to talk with Alissa. Remind your teams, text them, message them right now, and be like, hop on the Zoom quick. It's going to be so good. Alyssa and I actually met. We really bonded on the cruise, the first cruise It Works ever did. I don't know how we ended up meeting, but you were presidential, I think, at the time.
I was presidential.
Yes, you were presidential. And make sure you guys mute your phones. Hold on real quick. Maybe I will just mute everybody.
Stop. Not nice.
And then I'll unmute you. Okay, cool. So nobody will be able to unmute themselves now. I think you guys are all safe. I realized I wasn't muted earlier either. And so I was talking to my mom. She was telling me.
I started to tell you a joke.
And I didn't get it.
I don't get it. I still don't get it. I've been sitting here wondering.
Did you hear it? Did you hear the joke?
About the fridge?
Yes, and that the clothes don't fit because she didn't have them in the dryer. Like she thought she put them in the dryer, but they don't fit because of the fridge. It's because food, like you're eating the food, not because it's because you're always going to the fridge to eat. So your clothes aren't fitting because you're growing. Yeah. So I was like, Mom, I don't get it. I was like, this is horrible. I don't get it.
I love it. That's so awesome.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, let's get started. Okay, so Alyssa and I met on the cruise, the first cruise, and I really don't know how, but we ended up like talking. Carrie Bauer, did you meet her for the first time too, or did you know her?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
That was the first time I connected with a lot of people.
Yeah, I randomly met you and Carrie. And we stayed up talking probably until like 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning in the middle of a hallway down in the bottom of the boat somewhere. And yeah, the boat was really tiny and like the halls were really small and it was like a storm the whole time. We were
so sick.
Yeah, we were so sick. But we stayed up talking for a long, long time, just inspiring one another. And it's so cool because, you know, last year I was like in the top 20s income earners, like in the 20s somewhere, you know, it changes like every month. But these girls, Carrie and Alyssa, went from like, I don't know, maybe top 100. I don't know where you were.
I made Dash. Yeah, I made Dash that year, I think. Yes.
That was at the Key or whatever, the resort. Yeah, that was where we kind of first met. But like then so they went from like top 100 or 75 to then jumping from there to like all the way to top 15. And Alyssa, you know, you're in the top 15, is that right?
Top 20.
Top 20 this past year. And so she really like jumped the ranks in just a short amount of time. And she also went from presidential to ambassador this past year. So she is amazing. This girl is on fire. And I asked her just to spend 5 minutes kind of telling her story. But I really love Alyssa. She's got an amazing heart. She's very talented in this business. She's a very wise leader. I think she's got a little bit of all the colors. Think she's got green in her and blue and red and yellow. So that's a really good combination, at least from what I know of you, Alyssa. That's what I would say, is that you've got a little bit of both, which is what I think makes you such a fantastic person. But we're going to learn from you tonight. I'm so excited to talk with you. So why don't you share your story?
Sure. Okay. So I, first of all, am so normal, you guys. I'm like in my PJs with my blanket, just hanging out. But I got started in this business almost 3 years ago, and it has flown by so, so quickly. Tiffany, her is my upline. She's so amazing. But I was watching her on Facebook for about 3 months, and she kept posting belly pictures, and she went triple in 3 months. She's phenomenal. And we had met at a baby shower. So I had only met her one time. We connected at the baby shower, added each other on social media. And when she got started, I was just watching, and I never liked anything. I never commented on anything, but she was so consistent every single day. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to try these wraps. I kept seeing the before and after pictures, and I was so intrigued. I was like, there's no way that a skinny wrap can do that. And so I maxed out our last credit card that we had to become a loyal customer and try the wraps. So I get my wraps in the mail, and I was like, these better work or I'm dead meat. And so I used a wrap, and I didn't see any results. I used a second, and I didn't see any results. And then my third wrap, I compared my before and after. And she was like, use all 4, make sure, you follow directions, take your pictures. And thank goodness she told me that, because it wasn't until my third wrap that I really saw just incredible results. And as soon as I compared my before and after, it was just like a moment of clarity, like this could change your life. And at the time, we were living on food stamps and government assistance. We were struggling so bad for so long that it was just such a dark time for us. And especially like after year of struggling, it's hard to see that there is more. It's hard to feel that in your heart and to believe that. And so I instantly saw an opportunity, and I was like, you know what? I feel incredible after using those wraps. And I know so many people who would want this wrap. And it's hilarious because I had no idea there were other products. All I knew was that there was a wrap, and that was all that I cared about. And so we had $5 in the bank when we signed up. So I had to sell clothes, and I sold a jewelry box on a garage sale site and just some other things that, really meant a lot to me. But this was more important. It was, the opportunity to change our life was more important than those things. And so I sold things on a local garage sale site, and I got my kit. And from that moment that I purchased that kit, Tiffany was just getting started. We really weren't sure quite what we were doing. It was so much of just ignorance on fire. Mm-hmm. All I knew was that there was a steps to success. I watched the eSuite videos, and they were so old back then. They were so old. And so I had that, and then I had the charts, and I just knew I just need to fill it, and I just need to fill it over and over again. And that is all that I knew. Mm-hmm. And so I just started wrapping people, and that's what a lot of people don't know, is that I didn't start building on social media until I was almost a triple. And I was wrapping people every single day. We lived on a college campus, and I took such advantage of that. My first wrap party I did all by myself. I had no one there to help me. I was freaking out. But I went to a sorority, and one of my girlfriends had hosted me. And I show up, and I have just tons of wraps because she was like, so many people want them. And I was making a lot of wrap cash already because I was just messaging people and asking them if I could wrap them. Mm-hmm. And I show up with my wraps, and she was like, hey, come on in. And like all the girls thought I was bringing like food, like wraps, like turkey and ham. And so like no one like had their $25. And so they like sent the house mom out for their money. And I was like so nervous, but I was like, you know what? They have no idea what I do. I'm just going to rock it. And so I was very confident, and they had never heard of It Works. Mm-hmm. And so like, that's why they had no idea what a skinny wrap was or what a wrap was, period. Mm-hmm. And that night for me was just such an incredible moment because I realized that no one knows what this is. And I didn't start the business until 13 years after, they began. Mm-hmm. And the opportunity every single day is so huge. So I just started wrapping people. I was a Ruby, and I was having team trainings and doing team calls. Wow. And I would have, opportunity meetings at Starbucks. I had no idea what I was doing, but I just did it. And I just kept doing it over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly, like, you look down and you are promoted to double diamond and triple diamond. And then you're like, oh my gosh, this is so simple. That it's just duplication over and over and over again. And there was a time when I was in Emerald. So when I was Emerald, I attended my very first It Works event.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, I was really struggling in my business because I was working from a place of desperation because we needed it so bad that I feel like in a way I was kind of frozen in fear because we did need it so bad that I started to stay really busy in my mind. So I thought that I was doing a lot to build my business, but I was staying busy in my mind so much at that time that I got to a point where I wanted to quit. And I was like, I just can't do it anymore. I'm exhausted. Like nothing's working, which I mean, really, I just wasn't taking action. And so I went to my first event and I remember calling my sister when I got there and I was like, I just want to come home. I don't want to do this anymore. And she was like, just stay. Like, you just stay. You've never been to anything. I went with Tiffany and her mom and it was just us. And so I stayed and I was like, okay, I'm just going to stay. I'm already here in Florida. And, I'm so glad that I stayed because it changed my life. The energy that you feel when you walk into the room itself can, just change everything for you. How you feel about, your business, how you feel about yourself. And just seeing the people on stage is what it took for me is, just knowing, okay, there are people who are on that stage that are just like me. So why can't I do this? And I realized that I was staying so busy in my mind that I wasn't taking appropriate action to build a business. And so I was Emerald, and then 6 days later, I promoted to Double Diamonds because I snapped out of what I was going through. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It was like such an aha moment.
You wanted to quit to double. That is awesome.
Days, I snapped out of it, and I was like, you know what, Alissa? Like, you just have to take action for like what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did. And that's like what every single day I ask myself, are you taking action or are you staying busy in your mind? So you could have a list of things that you want to get done for your business for that day. But if you're not doing it and you're not taking action and you just keep looking at the list and you're like, nothing's getting done, I'm not signing anybody, then make sure that you're actually taking action, because I struggle with that so bad. And so that's just a little side story. But then we promoted to presidential in 1 year, ambassador in 2 years. And it has been such a wild ride. And I honestly, like, it is like this.
Yeah. So we're all learning that. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. There are times when I'm like bawling because somebody quits and I take it so personal. And you just learn so much about different personalities and about yourself, that you're capable of so much more than you realize. And that like our minds can play awful tricks on us if we let it. And if we don't have a good head on our shoulders, then that's going to be one of your worst enemies when you come into a business like this. So self-development played a huge, huge role in how I am here today, because I started self-development and still I teach my brand new distributors day one to begin self-development, because your business will never grow larger than your mind. Mm-hmm. And if it wasn't for self-development, there are conversations that I probably wouldn't have been able to have. And there are personalities I might not have been able to work as well with as I can now. So like when you say that you feel like I'm all the color personalities, that's because of self-development. Like I learned kind of how to adapt with other people, how to work well with other people who are different personalities. And I think that that's something that you learn over time. It's not something that you're going to learn overnight. But self-development has played such a huge role in how I'm here. And, this business has changed our life so much, you guys. We travel the world. We're able to give back more than the debt that we've owed. And that's like so huge for us, is we're very, very, very passionate about giving back we've earned like 410,000, I think, in bonuses alone, which has been just huge for us.
Insane. That's like getting all of them plus getting your husband all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Michael's a presidential, and then I'm an ambassador. So we've built both legs.
I didn't realize he was a presidential. That's amazing.
Yeah. And, we just have fallen in love with this business and the opportunity that it provides. And we realized very quickly that it wasn't about us. It's about all of the people that we can help. Mm-hmm. And, we love it. We love this business so much. It's just changed our entire life. And we're so grateful that we found it.
I love it. That is amazing. I love that. I don't know if I've talked to anybody who's gotten $400,000 plus in bonuses.
Jocelyn has.
Has she?
I
think thought, like Candace and I both got $250,000, and we thought that was a lot. And I'm like, dang,
a lot.
$400,000 is a lot. It's like almost $500,000 in bonuses alone.
I know. Crazy.
That's exciting. Okay, well, thank you for sharing your story. I love a lot of the things that you said. I felt like you threw in a lot of tips, which actually answered some of the questions, that my team has. I think they want like logistics of business, we want to hear, like we want to hear your leadership, I definitely want you to end on just inspiring us. Like what could be your best word for this year? But let's start with like simple basic questions. Like what is your organization method?
Okay.
For your day to day.
I am a little bit green, maybe a lot green, but I like laminate everything. And I laminate it because, honestly, you guys, I do the same thing every single day. And,
are these things that you were taught, or is this something that's just in you to do?
Something that, like over time, I just kept like wasting paper, and like every day I'm like, I'm doing the same thing. Or it would be like, I would do like tally marks. Like I have like distributor follow-up lists and
oh my gosh,
follow-up lists. And so I just use like a dry erase marker and I mark them off every day. But I would do like tally marks, and I'm like, okay, I need something. I can send you these too, so you can share it with your team.
I love that.
I have like follow-up lists for my distributors and my loyals that I do.
So is this like for potential distributors, potential customers?
Like already.
Yeah.
And then this is for like potentials. So I have 100 boxes here. And that's like a goal that I used to do every single day. And now that's changed, which I'll talk about a little bit. So I have these all laminated just because I use them every day. So I just it just makes more sense. And then my daily checklist that I use is also laminated so that I can just check mark it off every day.
And what's kind of in your checklist? What do you?
So in my checklist, I do 30 minutes of self-development in the morning and in the evening. And I can email this to you too if you want to share it with them. Yeah. Sherry Lynn gave me hers, and I kind of added things, took some things away. Just like, checking in with my top 10 leaders that I'm working with and my top 10 new distributors I'm working with, making sure that I'm adding at least 10 new contacts into my phone every single day, writing encouraging posts on 5 people's walls. So leaders, new team members, whoever it is, just sharing encouraging words. Adding new friends on Facebook and Instagram, messaging 10 to 20 potentials about joining or following up with 10 to 20 people, making sure that I'm doing my posts every day, making sure I'm checking with my new distributors and sending them like a tip or a great post idea, scheduling online events, opportunity meetings, and Zooms for the week. So I do this every single day. And nothing about this ever changes. And that's why I love the business so much, is because it's so duplicatable. And that's what this is all about, is that, I had never been in a business like this. I am a college dropout, a teen mom. I don't know how to work a business. And so I had to learn. And that's what, that's what I love, is that you can learn this, but you have to be willing to be able to be coached. And so that's one of the biggest things that I look for. Is I love working with the people who are willing to learn. And before I start pouring into people and coaching them, I ask them, can I share some tips with you? Are you willing to learn, and are you willing to be coached? And those are the people that I love working with and connecting with, because my time is very valuable, just like all of yours. And so I make sure that I'm matching that energy. And I feel like that plays a huge role in your success. Is your energy going into the correct people? Is it going into the right places for you to build a solid foundation for a successful business? And when you have a business like this that is so duplicatable, anyone can do it. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, or where you've been. You can be successful at this. And don't let anyone tell you that you can't, because I'm just a normal girl from Indiana, and I rock it. And I'm proud of it, and I love it, and I'm confident in this, and I believe in the products, and I believe in the business opportunity, and I'm so passionate about it, and it is easy, and it's duplicatable, and anyone can do it.
I love that. Everyone's excited now. They're like, oh yes, please, we want to see that up close.
Yeah. I'll send you all of this so they can all print it out.
They have a leader that doesn't have any green in them. So I can't offer a checklist like that, but that would be awesome to share.
Yes,
because I know that, like, the green people would love you for that. And I do actually like the list, because I feel like that doesn't, like, you're not wasting your time. Is that something that you do out of curiosity in your power hour?
So for a long time, I saw one of the questions is, how many hours do I work a day? And I would say that has changed drastically from getting started to now. But I feel like it's not that I'm doing less. I just feel like, I was struggling one time that I was just feeling like I was being pulled every which way. And Pam said to me, she was like, stop doing scattered work. That's the problem, is like, you work the minute you wake up until the minute you go to bed. And so, like, when you go to bed, you feel like you haven't accomplished anything because you're working all day. And so she said, you have to set like the solid, like 2 hours, 4 hours, whatever time that honestly fits into your life. Whether if you have 1 hour a day to contribute to your business, you can still be successful. And if you contribute 6 hours a day, you can still be successful. But it's what you do in that time. Are you putting your phone in airplane mode? Are you putting your head down and really getting focused? And are you, like, for sure built, like, doing productive income building activities? And so there are some things that are, like, if I have my new distributors, I really get them into the habit of creating a 6 list. And I think that oftentimes people just fill it instead of having income producing things on that list. It's just some little random things here and there. So you want to make sure that, what is on your 6 list or your daily checklist, is it income producing, or is it just making you busy and making you busy in your mind? And, so also for staying organized in my contacts, I'm huge on getting numbers. That is where, so I go from social media straight to texting and getting people on the phone. Same thing when I'm blitzing them and wrapping people, I get their contacts. And so if they're a potential loyal, I'll put PTLC in front of their name, and then PTDT in front of their name if they're a potential.
I do that too.
That way, like for BOGO, so BOGO obviously is here still. And whenever they released that, I typed in PTDT and every single one of my potentials came up. And I messaged every single one of them, and it broke my phone this time.
Copy paste.
Yeah, seriously, make it easy for yourself. And so same thing with my loyal customers. So once they're signed as a loyal, I put LC in front of their name. And that way I spend about, I would say, like 30 minutes a day checking in with my loyal customers. And I just type in LC and I pull up our conversations that we're having, and I make sure I'm checking in with them and seeing if they're liking their products. If they have questions, I'm recommending more products, things like that. But just something simple like that can keep you so organized. Yeah. And then just laminating things. So if you're going for a promotion, a lot of my girls will laminate like their ruby charts or emerald charts. My hundreds list is how I stay organized, but I really don't have anything crazy special that I do to stay organized. I just make sure, I'm getting their name and number in my phone. I'm writing them down on my hundreds list, and then I have my laminated papers.
I love that. And laminating, especially when you're trying to promote, I feel like you kind of nailed two important things: learning how to enroll customers, basically enroll distributors, and then which is steps to success, and then your charts.
Yes.
You mentioned those when you were telling your story, your chart and then enrolling customers and distributors. I mean, that is like the top three things that probably got you to where you are. I actually, one of the questions was the top 5 things you did to be a top 15, top 20 income earner. Mm-hmm. And what would you say to that?
So I have, what did I write down? Where is that question at? Okay, so I have self-development. Mm-hmm. Played a huge role, you guys. I cannot stress it enough. You've got to take care of your mind.
Which is like this too, even getting on Zoom, stuff like that.
Starting your day with that. I start my day with a business self-development, and then I end my day with like a devotional, something to really unwind myself. And
what are you reading right now?
So right now, I'm reading The Power of Layered Leadership. I've read it so many times, but it's like one of my favorite things. And then our leaders, actually, we just started doing a Bible study called the book Uninvited. Have you heard of it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've done that one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we just started doing that. So
Great.
I'll have that now as well. But Without Rival is one that I've just finished. And I read that one twice. I went back and reread it because I love it so much. But Power of Layered Leadership is great. You Are a Badass is amazing. The Compound Effect is incredible book. Anything John Maxwell, it's just amazing. There are so many books out there, you guys, but you just have to pick one and just start reading it. And if you're not familiar with self-development, if reading isn't your thing, go pull up a video on YouTube, listen to that while you're getting ready. I do that a lot. Even
Les Brown, he's great, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. When I'm driving in the car, I don't listen to music. I do self-development. I just have an audiobook that I play. So it's just little things like that, just taking care of your mind. I also have knowing where I was going. So I feel like that is like something that sometimes a lot of people miss is, do you know exactly where you're going? So if you want to go emerald, if you want to go diamond, do you know what that chart looks like? Do you know who you're taking with you when you're going towards that promotion? What leaders are you taking with you, and what do you need to do to get there? And so that was huge for me. And that's how I coach my team is, if you want to be a diamond, this is what you need to do every day. This is what it's going to take, and this is what it's going to look like. And you have to really focus on, what kind of people do you want in your organization? What kind of people do you want in your team? And write that down. If you're just getting started, write that on your Ruby chart, whatever promotion you're going for. And you want to focus on building a strong business and a strong foundation from the beginning. So when you take this seriously and you write those characteristics down of someone that you're wanting as a business partner, it's going to take a lot of pressure off of you feeling like you have to sign anybody and everybody in that place of desperation. Trust me, I've been there, don't let your situation that you're in paralyze you in fear that you have to build this business overnight, because you will build it over time. Mm-hmm. And this is legacy money. This isn't just overnight money. This is a long-term commitment. You've got to be committed to this. And, when you focus on the people you want in your business, make sure you write that down and hold yourself accountable to honor that. So when you're talking to someone, maybe they're being negative or just, they're just not something that would be in your organization. You've got to kind of ask yourself, is this the kind of person that I want as a business partner? And, some days you're going to say, yeah, I'm going to continue to work because I do believe that they could be a strong business partner. And sometimes, you just got to not feel like you're talking someone into signing up, because I promise if you feel like you're talking them into signing up, you're going to have to talk them into getting on corporate calls. You're going to have to talk them into getting on Zooms like tonight. You're going to have to talk them into posting and working. And that isn't something that you have that time for. So never feel like you are talking someone into signing, because every person has a date that they will join. And it might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but they have a date that they will join the business when they are ready. So you've got to be prepared for that, and you've got to be open for business and make sure that they know that you're open for business. So self-development, knowing the path that I'm going, and honestly, just my steps to success, my charts, little things like that. There's nothing crazy that I did to get here. I just kept it simple. And there are, of course, times, when I do feel overwhelmed. And when that happens, I'm like, okay, Alissa, you're being ridiculous. Let's step back and just look at your steps to success. Because we can start comparing ourselves or overthinking, or we see someone enrolls tons and tons of distributors and you're like, I enrolled one, and that can be defeating. So you've got to remember, the foundation and the roadmap towards building it works is your steps to success. And that's how simple this is. So that for me is, a huge, huge part of how I got here, is that I teach that over and over and over again. And I don't complicate anything for this. I just, I keep my head down and I stay focused. Don't look left and don't look right is another way that I've gotten here. Is, when I got started, I had no idea who anybody was. And I had my head down, and I was so focused for so long that I couldn't compare myself to other people. I couldn't, you just start to question things that you're doing, the more tips that you hear, but you've got to do what works for you. And you have to find what that is. So you have to, get experience with social media, get experience with blitzing, get experience with wrapping people, and do all three of those. And I recommend really, becoming an expert in all three of those, no matter how uncomfortable it is for you. Because I know for me, blitzing is like this, like I get hives and I like panic, but I still do it anyways, because I know that there are people that I'm going to be blitzing who maybe aren't on social media. And it's not up to me to decide who does and doesn't get a life-changing opportunity presented to them. And so I talk to everybody always. When I'm checking out somewhere, if I'm at the park, if I'm at the bank, if I'm at the grocery store, whatever it is, I am blitzing and I'm wrapping people and I'm doing social media. And I do that over and over and over again, because you never know who you're going to meet. And you can meet a mom in a grocery store who could have been like me, living on food stamps, and you would never know. Or on social media, my life looked perfect on social media. It's our highlight reel. I can make you see whatever I want you to see. And that's what you have to always remember, is that there are people on your social media who maybe their life looks perfect, but so did mine. And I had $5 to my name. And that's what you don't see. So you have to be open for business in every aspect of ways to build your business every single day.
I love that. That is so good. Open for business. And and if you think about it, like in the traditional business world, could you imagine if Chick-fil-A closed their doors for a week and they were like, oh, we're not working this week, that would not, you don't do that. Like you were open, know? And so that's like a great reminder for social media, for when you're out and about, to be on your game, and we're not always perfectly on our game, but you've got to be on, you've got to be ready to pull that out. Like I was sitting next to a girl at the coffee shop the other day, and I was obviously, I don't always have it together, because I thought you were like, your volume wasn't working and you were muted, or I had you all muted. Anyway, I was at a coffee shop and I was sitting next to a girl, and I was getting ready for the Zoom with Pam, and it wasn't Pam Souter, but it wasn't until the next day. We got it. Somebody, Christy Christensen, did that too. But sometimes we just mix up our days when we get really into what we're doing. So I'm like sitting here on the Zoom and I'm like, nobody's on here. So I start talking to the girl next to me and then she's like, what do you do? You know? And so I mean, I need to be on my game at that moment. And I'm like, well, I work for a health and wellness company. It's called It Works Global. Have you heard of it? And she was like, no, but you know, and then I told her a little bit more and she was like, well, how do you work from home? And so I got to tell her, you know, and that's a prime opportunity to be like, well, I'd love to send you more information if you're interested through Facebook. Do you have it? And then you don't even necessarily have to, you can just touch base with me. Like, it was so great to meet you. Now they're in and they're engaged and they're watching what you're doing. Yeah. And so I just thought I would plug that in because I feel like you need to be on it, you know, and you need to be ready. And somebody asked like, how do you start those conversations in person? And I'll let you answer. But like for me, I usually talk to the other person first. I'm like, hey, how are you doing? How's your day?
First.
Yeah, like you don't just go out and be like, hey, have you heard of It Works? Here, have my wrap, you know, like that doesn't work.
Like what you have to think when it comes to blitzing, I just feel like we overthink it so much. We're also dramatic. But think if someone was to like walk up to you and have a conversation with you and hand you their business card, you like, it's not the end of the world for you. So don't overthink it. You have to put yourself in that situation and say like, what would you do if someone approached you that way? You would be like, oh, thank you so much, you know? So don't overthink it in your mind because you're going to freak yourself out. And that is I mean, there have been times I've made a fool of myself. Like I could name so many times, like I just remember them all. It's like I have nightmares, but you don't have to be perfect at it. And you just honestly learn as you go. There are things that I probably did when I got started that I would never do now.
Yeah.
And it's scary to step outside of your comfort zone, but that's when God blesses you and that's when your business grows. And that's when, you know, you're going to meet people and you have an incredible opportunity. So you've got to believe in the opportunity and you've got to believe in the products. And when you do that, it just comes so much more natural. And it, you know, we hear all the time, you know, if you see an awesome movie or go to a great restaurant, you just tell people about it. Like it's no big deal. So do the same thing with your business. Do the same thing with these products is just open your mouth and just share them. Mm-hmm. Because you know, when you believe in what you have your hands on here, that takes so much pressure off of you. And I'm telling you, you're not going to be perfect at this. You're going to screw up so many times. And like, I will like walk up to people and they'll be like, are you okay? And I'm like sweating. Like I'm so awkward. I don't know how to start a conversation, but I do it anyways. And, you know, you just fail your way there is all that there is to this. And you learn every single day, just new ways to grow, new ways to build your business and have fun doing it. I think that that's what people miss out on, you know, is having so much fun doing it.
Yes. I love that. Okay. So how do you train your new distributors?
Oh goodness. I keep it so simple, you guys. eSuite, I have a video on my YouTube that I send them that just kind of walks them through their eSuite. First, I have them do their training videos. So they get on and they do the It Works You training videos, which I know that they're getting ready to release the new ones, I heard. Yeah. And so they're just like a little bit old school right now, but hey, they get the point across. And
they're right, sweet. The training, they don't even have videos. They just have documents right now.
They don't?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they should have videos up. It might be your link.
It could be.
It's like, so if I like sign someone up, this is just a quick tip. Mm-hmm. If I sign someone up and they have like only like a phone, if they have Safari, sometimes it doesn't open. So they have to download an app. It's called Puffin Web Browser, but then it lets them watch the video.
What?
Yep. Yeah. And so
type that into the chat. I don't even know what that is.
Yes, I'll type it in. Okay. Puffin Web Browser. I think I'm spelling
it. You guys need to save this and let's type it onto our team page, okay?
There you go. Yeah. And so I have them do their training videos right away. That's the first thing that I have them do because they have so many questions. And when they watch those videos, so many of those questions are going to get answered. I have them keep a notebook beside them. If they have additional questions after they watch the videos, write those down or take notes. But I reassure them that those videos are always going to remain there. So if you ever need to go back and refresh and up, those will always be available. And then I send them that video on my YouTube of eSuite, kind of how to navigate, how to enroll a loyal customer, where your document library is. And then we go right into printing off your Ruby chart, your steps to success, your hundreds list, and your memory jogger. And so those are like the main things that I have them print off. And from there, I work on, as soon as they get started, once we do those things, is creating a vision. You know, people come into the business knowing the amount of income that they're wanting. They know their goals. And so you have to really get into the habit of helping them create that vision for themselves, because then they're going to take this more serious, and they're not going to expect, you know, a microwave mentality where they're going to have success overnight. And so when you help them create a vision for what they want in the next year, in the next 5 years, in the next two months, 5 months, whatever it is, helping them create that vision is very, very important. And it's a key that, you know, is going to get them in the right mindset towards building their business. And they're really going to approach it in a different way when you do create the vision for them. And just have a conversation is all that looks like, you know, is, what do you want out of this business? What type of income? What is that income going to give you? With the new promotions coming out, you know, if there are bonuses, whenever there was the Ruby bonus, I would say, I want you to write down on the top of your Ruby chart, what are you going to do with that $500 bonus? And just things like that, like really helping them speak things into existence, making sure that they're creating a vision board and writing down their goals on their charts of the promotions that they're going for, or writing their goals down in general if it's on a piece of notebook paper. And then I just tell them to just start and just go. I'm there for them every single step of the way, but there's only so much I can do for you. You've got to figure out, you know, how are we going to build your business? Social media, blitzing, wrapping right away. What are you going to do? Where do you feel comfortable? And so some people, they start off doing wrap party, and that works for them. Some people, it is social media. So you kind of want to help them navigate which of the three that they're going to want to start with. Eventually, of course, you want to get them doing all three, but I try to get them to where they're comfortable. And then day by day, we get a little bit more uncomfortable. And that's all that I do to get them started. I don't complicate it. I have a great just getting started email that I send, and they're connected on the team page. So I'm always there for them. We have great leadership, and if they have any questions and they know I'm unavailable, they'll ask on there. And I also, if they ask questions, you know, you have to make sure that you are like not enabling people, but empowering them. So if someone asks me a question, I'll tell them where to find it instead of answering the question. And you want to get into the habit of doing that, because as you know, as your business grows, and I feel like personally for me, you know, we didn't really have an idea of what we were doing when we got started. And that's how I learned so much so quickly, is I just searched for the answers myself. And it was a great learning tool for me, is, you know, on your eSuite, there's not a wrong button that you can press. I promise. People are so worried about that. I'm like, you can't press anything wrong. Just go and navigate around there, you know, through your document library. Go look at the reports. And that's a big thing for the men that are coming into the business, the husbands, the boyfriends, whoever it is, showing them that your back office was something for Michael that made things click for him, is just knowing that there is this incredibly designed back office that helps us run our businesses. And so that was huge for us too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's excellent. That's excellent information. They want to know, how do you seal the deal with a potential distributor? And if you don't mind throwing in some of those tips when they say, I don't have enough money or I'm too busy. But ultimately, how do you seal the deal with a potential?
Okay, so if they don't have the money, first thing is, if someone needs the business bad enough, they will come up with $100. I've had people, you know, even like my own story, I had to sell stuff. I've had girls donate plasma.
I borrowed money.
Oh yeah, borrow money. There's so many ways to make that $100. People don't think about it. And I'll tell them, I'm like, pick up an extra shift, or how about we spend the weekend babysitting, or maybe let's not go to the bar this weekend and let's invest in your business instead. And I'm just very blunt and honest about it. I'm like, if you are ready to change your life, then let's do it. Let's come up with $100. For not having the time, I just remind them, the most successful people in this business are the people who are busy, is because they know how to get things done. They don't mess around with time. And if you can't work this business part-time, you can never work it full-time. And that's just the truth. You can be successful working 1 hour a day. And I feel like when people think about starting a new business, that they feel like they have to work it full-time. But you absolutely don't. You work it when it's best for you. So I just remind them, you create your own schedule. Whatever you're looking for, whatever amount of income, you let me know what income you're wanting, and I'll let you know the work that it's going to take. But I make sure, from the start, that are you willing to make some trade-offs? So much of your success comes from making trade-offs. And that means, saying no to some things so that you can say yes to more things in the future. And like going out with friends, or going on like a girls' weekend, or, doing things that aren't income producing, that that you're going to feel guilty about tomorrow or the next day, things like that. So making those trade-offs. And I talk about that even before I get people signed up. One girl I just signed up tonight for a BOGO. She was just talking about, that she doesn't have the time. And I was like, well, are you willing to make some trade-offs? Are you willing to maybe go to bed an hour later, or wake up an hour earlier? And she was like, yeah, I can totally do that. And so it's just little things like that when it comes to not having the time, is help them make sure that they are doing like just the little things that will help them build a business. So contacting a certain amount of people, doing their self-development, helping them like organize some posts for the week, little things like that. It doesn't matter how busy you are, you can still grow a great income, and hopefully find your way toward having that freedom of time eventually. Always becomes a goal as well. But for me, when I'm talking to a potential distributor, I always ask them, the first thing I ask is, what are your goals and what's your income goal? And when I do that on my phone, in their contacts, so I get everybody's number. That's just is how I do it. I get everybody's numbers, and on your iPhone, whatever phone you have a little note section under everyone's name in your contacts. And so that is where I put the amount of income they're wanting and their goals. And I do that right away as soon as our conversation begins, because I use that when I'm following up with them. And so much of my business, you guys, is built on follow-ups, and I cannot stress it enough. So when you see a lot of like top leaders, especially enrolling, the average amount that I follow up with people before they sign is probably 5 to 10 times. And even one of my double diamonds, I followed up with her 17 times, and she never responded back until like the 15th time, and then she signed the 17th time.
That's a big deal.
No, but I'm like, Sydney, I always use you as an example. And she's like, oh my gosh. But, she was just like a college girl, just crazy, like busy with school and work. And I just never stopped following up. And there are people that I'm still following up with, and they're like, girl, you are so committed. I cannot believe you still have my information. And I'm like, I'm here when you're ready. And so just, always the fortune is in the follow-up, and that's a huge, huge thing. So when I'm following up with people, or if it is in the same conversation, I always ask them where they're at 1 through 10. So I say, okay, where are you at 1 through 10? 10 being you're ready to join right now. And that gives me kind of an idea of should I be telling them more? Should I be like focused on a certain something? And when they give me a number, I say, okay, how can we get you to a 10? And let's say that they're at a 7, and I'm like, okay, how can we get you to a 10? This is when they're going to ask questions they haven't asked yet. This is where, things come up, like I don't have the extra $100 to get started, or I don't feel like I have the time. Whatever it is, this is where they're going to voice that because they haven't voiced it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great opening to have really great communication with them, to know exactly where they're at and how to get them exactly where they need to be. And so when I say, okay, where are you at 1 through 10? How can we get you to a 10? We answer all of those questions, and they usually end up signing up right away. And if they don't have the extra income or the $100, I always tell them, okay, let's pick a date on the calendar, and I'm going to challenge you to get your $100 by this date. And I'll do it for like 4 days later. And I'll ask them, like, are you up for a challenge? Let's see how quickly you can get that $100, because I promise you they will get it very quickly, especially if you choose a date on the calendar. But calendar close is huge, you know, for helping them gather that $100, or just in general getting someone signed up and waiting for payday. Mm-hmm. So calendar close is a huge way of how I built, as well as, you know, I know that they don't have the $100 right now, but they're going to have it on Friday, or they're going to have it next week. So I write their name down in my calendar of the day that they're signing up. And I follow up, you know, a couple days before, letting them know I'm so excited, saying if they have any additional questions. And a lot of the time too, I'll even gather their information before they sign up, just so that I know for sure on that day I'm enrolling them. So before I enroll them, I'm like, hey, Amanda, I just wanted to let you know I'm getting ready to put your information into the computer. I'm so excited to get you started. I cannot wait. And then I already have all of her information if she feels comfortable giving that to me. So that's also something that I do. But calendar close is huge, you guys. So if someone says that they can't sign right now, just say, perfect, let's pick a date on the calendar, and then let's get you signed up then. And that urgency is huge. So always having a sense of urgency, no matter what in your business, is going to grow your business phenomenally.
I love that. Okay. Maybe touch on real quick before we close up. What time is it? They want to know about your best way to consistent method and steps for growth on Instagram.
Okay. Instagram story, if you're not doing that, is really, really huge right now. And I suggest that you start doing it before it grows even larger. Because you're going to have a little bit of an advantage right now if you are doing Instagram story. And
what is it?
So with Instagram story, it's on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like Snapchat, except for it's on Instagram. So it's called Instagram story. But so on Instagram, you know, I post maybe 2 to 3 times a day. But on my story, you'll see like maybe 10 to 15 posts. So you can use both. And like on my interaction on a picture that I would post on my actual like feed on Instagram, I post like before and afters in my Instagram story, things like that, so that my profile looks clean. But then my story has before and afters and just tons of like random stuff throughout my day, things like that. And I'm trying to explain how to use it. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can take pictures from your camera roll and use it on your Instagram story. Mm-hmm. But that's huge, because you're going to see a lot of people who aren't liking and commenting on your pictures. Mm-hmm. They're seeing your stuff. So you know who's seeing your stuff. And that's how I get a great idea of who I should be connecting with and who I should be adding and things like that. But for Instagram, for me, I turn on post notifications for people that I'm like, I want her on my team. She would be phenomenal at this. I turn on post notifications, and I make sure that I keep up to date with that. And I also make sure that I'm not adding too many people, because I feel like we get so caught up in the numbers. It is a numbers game, but only to a certain extent, because you're going to end up hurting yourself if all you're focused on is the numbers. So you want to focus on, you know, stop adding people until you start sealing the deal with the people that are already in your network, the people that you're already following, and the people that are already following you. So stop adding people until you start signing those people. Connect with them. I have about, I would say like 10 to 20 people a week that I'm really, really connecting with on Instagram, and that I'm commenting on their pictures. They're commenting on mine. I'm liking their pictures. They're liking mine. And then I build that up before I message them, because they know who I am. They can see my pictures. They know that I'm not like just a spammy account. And when I message them, people ask if I cold message. Heck yeah. Because I'm confident when they come to my page that it looks incredible. I work really hard on my posts and, you know, my pictures and what they look like. And so I know that when you come to my profile that you are going to feel comfortable because I work hard on making sure that my page looks refreshing and is it welcoming, things like that. Is it great energy? Is it positive? Are my pictures good? So yeah, making sure that your profile just looks the best of the best. Post your best pictures on your actual, what is it called? Like your actual Instagram. And then for your Instagram story, post them before and afters there as well. You can make more than, I would say, make 5 to 10 posts a day on your story. And doing both, you're gonna engage in a lot of different people that way. So that is a huge tip for you guys right now, that if you are not doing Instagram story, you want to make sure that you start doing that ASAP.
Yes, that's so good. Okay, that's good to know. If you guys are building on Instagram, then definitely use the story. Do you use Snapchat? Just curious. Do you build on that at all, or?
I love Instagram story a lot more than Snapchat, because like Snapchat is like you had to build a whole like brand new following over there. So like you had to bring people over, whereas Instagram is you already have everybody right there.
Mm-hmm. How do you, I know that you had like a large network from blogging, right? Before?
Yes.
So, I mean, is there a way for girls to kind of grow that platform on Instagram?
Yeah. I think, you know, how I grew through blogging is consistency. It's the same thing like our business is consistency. And the reason that I say that is because for me, the accounts that I personally follow now are people that are consistent, are people that they offer something. So what do you offer? And that's what you kind of want to narrow down to is, what do you bring to the table? Do you bring, you know, positivity? Do you like, what are you passionate about and who are you? Because on social media, you know, you want to be your truest, most authentic self. You don't have to be anybody but yourself. And you want to attract people who are like you and connect with you in that way. So being yourself is huge. Making sure that your posts are coming from your heart. Are you like read it out loud before you post it and say like, would this touch my heart, or does this speak to me in any certain way? Things like that. But consistency is huge, and connecting with people, commenting, liking is exactly how I built my following through blogging. Is the exact same way that I still continue to build it now, is making sure that I am connecting with people every single day. And whether you have 5 minutes to do this or an hour to do it, it all is very important. So making sure that you're taking time every day to do that, especially if you are building on Instagram, it's just about connecting with people. And I remember there was this girl, quick story, there was this girl that she was a blogger, but I remember she would always comment on every single thing that I did. And I noticed that she did it for everybody else. And I kept my eye on her over the years. And now she's got over 400,000 people on her Instagram. And she's like a super like mega blogger and like just incredible. And I remember when she just got started, she had like 2,000 people on her Instagram, and she just every single day was always liking and commenting and connecting. And now she's built almost 500,000 followers because she made her point, you know, like she made herself known for everybody. And I love that. And so that is something really huge to remember, is that it's about just connecting with people.
That is really good.
Okay.
Woo. I have I don't know what happened.
Am I people? What'd you say?
Am I feeding back to you? Or is it? Okay, good. It was for a minute. It was like these big, large echoes of my voice over and over again. So it's kind of creeping me out. Just to wake y'all up. No. Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I would love.
So welcome.
Could you just close with an inspirational word? I mean, your life is completely changed from this business.
Oh my
and you
God.
went from $5 into the bank account to being in the Millionaires Club, making a million, making over $1 million in just a couple of years. And so can you just like impart something special to us as we close out?
I feel like your success comes from within you, and you have to believe in your core that you can be successful at this. And so you have to ask yourself, tonight, stand in the mirror and ask yourself, do I believe I can be successful at this? And if your answer is yes, then just go and do it and stop overthinking it and stop, don't let anyone talk you out of your dreams. And honestly, if 95% of people don't laugh when you tell them your dreams, then your dreams aren't big enough. Mm-hmm. And you're worthy of an incredible life. I come from a family where this is an opportunity for me to change my family tree. My family struggled, and we went through a lot of hard times, and you have the opportunity now to change your family tree and to truly build a legacy. So take this seriously and love what you're doing every single day. You should find, write down things every day of what you love about the business. Before you go to bed tonight, write down 5 to 10 things that you love about this company, about this business, and make sure that you are falling more in love with it every single day, whether it's meeting new friends or just connecting with people online. Are you falling in love with the products and the opportunity? Do you truly realize what you have your hands on? Mm-hmm. And just know that you cannot motivate anybody. You can't motivate anybody. You can only lead by example. And when you put your head down and you get to work and you lead by example, that is when people are going to run alongside of you. And that is when you truly are going to build a life towards financial freedom. But it isn't up to you to motivate anybody. All that you can do is, encourage others and let others know that you believe in themselves, because you are instilling that belief in themselves before they are instilling it. And so you have to believe in other people before they truly believe in themselves. But, and that's a great gift that you have. And that is such a huge movement within yourself, that you have the opportunity to create, generations and generations of people who are dreaming again and building towards financial freedom. What we do isn't normal. People don't have a brain cell for a skinny wrap. People don't have a brain cell towards living a debt-free life. And so if you feel like you're crazy some days, guess what? We all feel that way some days, because what we do isn't normal, but it's better. And this is a better way. And if you work hard every single day and have fun with this and fall in love with this and take that pressure off of yourself, you will build your dream life. And that can happen for you. It doesn't matter who you are or where you've been or where you come from. I'm just a normal person. Rachel's just a normal person. Every person that you see on stage, we are all so normal. And so if we can do this, then so can you. But you have to know, first of all, that you're worthy of this, and believe in yourself and in your core that you can be successful at this.
Woo! And the chorus sings hallelujah. Thank you so much. This has been awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Well, hey, can I just feel like I should pray for us. Is that okay?
I love that so much.
On Zooms, but I just feel like God wants me to. So let's just close in prayer, guys. And guys, the best is yet to come. So Lord, thank you so much for Alissa. I pray that you would bless her for the time she spent with us tonight, loving on us, giving as much wisdom as she could pour out. God, I just thank you for her and her life. I pray that you bless them, Lord, that you'd walk with them and give them favor. And I just pray for all these people on this Zoom, God. They're hungry to learn. They believe in this business, and I know that they believe that you brought this to them, God. So I pray that you would bless them, give them favor, Lord. I pray that you would open doors and create divine appointments for them, Lord. Send them runners, and I just pray that you would change people's lives, bring them out of debt, God, and turn things around for everyone here. So we thank you so much for this time, God, that you would just allow us to have this community like we do. And I pray that we would make you proud. We love you so much, Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, you too.